morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be. Now, if I did that right, it might have sounded like a pretty cohesive, continuous piece of improvising. And a lot of people ask me, how do you play up and down the guitar neck without sounding like you're just playing scales or moving from one position to the next? So the way to do this, and I've done multiple videos on this topic before, depending on which scale you like to use. I was just kind of in the A minor-ish scale. But I like to think of the fretboard in anchor points. So I have my home bases where I'm really comfortable. You could hear that all of those notes were actually the same notes. They were just in different places on the neck. So what I'll do is, after learning, of course, each mode of a given scale, I will understand where these anchor points are. So that way, when I'm improvising, I know that I have a place to land as I want to ascend or descend up or down the neck. What that basically means is sitting down and finding a riff that you're really comfortable with. The example that I started the video with was something like this. And now I would find that in a position that's, you know, a little further away. And then I'd find it up here. And this is just one example. So I would want to find, you know, many different places where these same notes exist, and it doesn't have to be the exact same tone either. It can be like an octave. So I think that really finding a couple notes like this will totally change your playing, because you'll be able to move through these scales in somewhat of a melodic fashion. So you won't be finding a scale that sounds a lot more boring and stiff than see how I'm moving in between those scales, and I have access to all these other tones within this position of the scale. I'm just using these home riffs to demonstrate, but I have access if I want to continue improvising in the given position of the scale. But that's really how you can connect these boxes without literally playing boxes. So of course we have this position, and we have this position. We have these two connecting riffs, which are really the same notes, just a bridge to get between these two positions. So now I'm going to improvise using those as crutches to connect the dots, per se. So did you see how, of course, I threw in a lot of improvising in between, but you could hear when I did those, I used those as anchor points to know when I'm like kind of running out of ideas or I'm getting lost in my own improvised thoughts that I have this home base. So really all you want to do, and you don't have to use this riff, this is just an example. So any riff that you're really comfortable with, doesn't have to be the minor pentatonic scale, it can be like a major scale. just moving between, but really my home riffs were. So that was connecting the first mode of the major scale to the fourth mode. So many different ways you can use this technique, but find an anchor point in a place that you're comfortable with on the neck, and then find those same notes up a couple positions, and then learn these two. A stipulation to this is, of course, you have to know each position that you are moving to. That'll really help with the improvising, but to get from one position to the next, you'll have these anchors to really kind of be like a visual road map, and the fret markers, of course, help with this. So I know if I'm in A minor, I can find this 12th fret marker, and that's going to be the start of this anchor riff. So there you go, guys. That should really get you started with moving between different positions of a given scale, like the major scale or melodic minor, harmonic minor. This can really apply to any scale out there. So let me know in the comments if you thought this was helpful, and watch that other video that I linked if you want some more specifics on how I approach moving between scales on the fretboard in a cohesive manner. All right, thank you so much for watching, guys. I shall check you tomorrow.